Hey guys, welcome to today's Java tutorial. Today we're going to be doing problem 3 from today's class, which is Tuesday. So let's read it. So write a method that takes one parameter s, a string, and returns true if the given string contains between 1 and 3 e characters. And there's our method, hasSeveral, hello. So hello is true because there's 3, so there's between 1 and 3 e's in it. Okay, hasSeveral, so this has 3 e's in it, so that's true as well, and this one has 4 e's in it, so that one's false. Alright, so it's straightforward enough. So what are we going to do first? Well, let's put our pseudo in. So we're going to need to pass something to our methods. Okay, then we're going to have to make our methods. We know that we have to make a method because it says write a method, and then it gives us the method name, so hasSeveral. So we're going to call it hasSeveral. hasSeveral. Okay. Then what are we going to do? Well, we're going to have to, probably the easiest way to do this is to go through each character in our string. So we're given a string, so we're going to go through, check and see if the first one is equal to e, and then if it's not, we'll put a counter in, so we'll count how many e's there are. So if the first one's not an e, then we'll say okay, don't add one to the counter. If it isn't, if the second one's an e, add one to the counter, and so on. So that's probably the easiest way. So we're going to need a loop. I'm going to use a for loop because we know, well, we don't, well, we'll be able to find out the length of the string. So using the length method, yeah. So for loop because we will know the length of the string. Alright, and then what do we need to do? We need to check and see. So we need a counter to count number of times e occurs. And what else do we need to do? We could probably do some error checking, and we'll check and see if it's between, yeah, we have to check and see if it's between 1 and 3 e's. So if it's outside of that, so let's say if there's 5 e's or 4 e's like it is here, we need to return false, so we need to check this. So check if number of e's is between 1 and 3. 1 quad. Right. So let's save. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is make our method. So how are we going to do that? Well, we know what the name of it is. We also know that because this is a static, our main method is static, so does our other methods. They need to be static as well. Okay, and then the data type that we're going to return, well, it says true, so that has to be a boolean. And we know the name, it hasSeveral. So let's paste that down here. We can move this line up here. Just another comment. Okay, and then we are going to copy a string from our main method. Okay, let's put in our curly brackets. Okay, what do we need to do next? Okay, let's pass something to our method then. So we'll come back up to our main method, and we're going to go system.out.println, and we're going to we have to put our name of our method in, so hasSeveral, and then in here I'm just going to write a string, so I'm just going to copy this type hello. I'm going to we'll put all 3 that are above in, so Heelle must be a Scottish person. and must be a Scottish sheep. Alright, so now what we'll do, now that we have something going to our method, we need to decide what way we're going to work our for loop. So let's just put our comments up inside our method so it's a bit cleaner looking. Okay, so we're going to use a for loop because we know the length of the string. Right, so let's just declare the string that we're getting. Let's just declare that to a different variable. Let's call it my string equals, and I'm just going to say s. Okay, we're now going to make our for loop. So we're going to say for int I is equal to 0, because we want the index at 0, so the first letter of the word or of the string, semicolon. Then we want to say, well, while I is less than or equal to my string dot length -1. Remember, we're using -1 because we want to find the character at the last index, and when we use length it always adds 1 onto the last index because it goes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so it counts 6, but it'll count 7 as the length, whereas the last index is 6. If we didn't put this in, we'd probably get an error message when it gets to the last letter of the string, or the last character of the string. So now we're just going to say I++, so it'll automatically increment I every time it iterates the loop. And in here we're going to put our statements. Now, what do we need to do first? Well, we need to get the substring. So we're going to say string, and to get the substring we're just going to select the first character. We could use a char at or index of, but we're going to do substring here because I think substring is the easiest one. So we're going to say my sub equals, so I just declared a substring variable called my sub, or I just declared a new string variable called my sub. It's not a substring yet. Equals my string dot substring. Okay, so we're taking a substring of my string, which is the same as s, and s is passed from up here. Yeah, I know it's a lot to take in, bear with me. We don't put that in. So we say, okay, well, we want whatever I is at the moment. So the first time it goes around it will be 0, so it'll take the first letter, so it'll be H, up as far as I plus 1, so that'll say 0 to, so really what this is 0 and 1, so it goes from 0 up until 1 but not including 1. So okay, then the next time it goes around the loop it would be the same as saying, because it adds 1 onto I, it would be 1 plus 1 plus 1, so 2 essentially. So it'll go the second character until the third but not including the third. Okay, so let's just do that. I comma I plus I, oh no, yeah, I plus 1, sorry. And then we say semicolon. Now what do we need to do? Well, so now that we have our substring assigned to the variable my sub, we need to say, okay, well, we need a counter in there. So in order for us to use a counter, we need to check and see if the number is equal to, let's just type in our pseudo again. So if the substring equals E, then increase the counter. Okay, so let's say if my sub, which is our substring, equals, well, we could do it this way, it probably won't work properly, so let's use the equal method. Equals, and in here we're just going to say e, then we want the counter to increase by 1. Remember, plus plus adds 1 onto whatever the variable is. Now, we've never actually declared our variable counter, so let's come back up here outside our for loop, and we'll say int counter, and we'll just, yeah, we don't need to, we'll say equals 0. Okay. It's very important that we initialize the counter outside of the for loop, because we want to use it again outside the for loop at the very bottom when we're checking if the number of e's is between, oh no, we need to count the number of times e occurs, because we need to see if it's between 1 and 3, and then we either return true or false back up here. Okay, so now that we have that done, what do I have left to do? I'm pretty sure this will work so far. Don't think we'll get any errors. Okay, so let's come down here. Now we need to check number of e's is between 1 and 3. So to do this, we're just going to use a simple if. Normally, if whenever you're writing your pseudo, you'll actually write the statement that you need. So check if, so we know that we need to use an if statement. So if the counter, I'll put another one in here, counter is greater than or equal to 1, and our counter is less than or equal to 3. Now, why did we say that? Well, we want to know if the counter is greater than or equal to 1, okay, so from 1 upwards, and if the counter is less than or equal to 3. So we just after figuring out if it's between 1 and 3 inclusive. Okay, let's just indent this. This isn't indented properly, is it? No, it's not. Not at all. There we go. Alright. Actually, none of this is indented properly. Okay, that's better. Okay, so now what do we need to do? Well, now that we have, so if the number of e's is between 1 and 3, we want to return true. Okay, so how do we do that? Well, we just simply say return true. Done. And if it's not equal to that, if it's anything else, we just need to say return false. Okay, so let's just have a quick look. Let's go through everything we've done again. So in our main method, we put our print statements, and we're going to get the method, and we're passing hello as a parameter to the method. We come down here to our hasSeveral method, and in here, well, we explicitly said we want to return a Boolean data type. So at the end, that's what we have to do. We use the for loop to create a substring to go through each individual letter of the strings here. So each individual letter to see if any of them are E, and if they are equal to E, add 1 to the counter. So every time we find an E, the counter value will go up by 1. So it starts at 0. If there is an E in hello, which there is at the second character, is an E, so it'll add 1 onto that. It'll go through the rest of them, and it'll say, okay, there's no more E's, so counter is equal to 1. So then we said at the bottom we need to check the number of these is between 1 and 3, and if it is, return true. So if counter is greater than or equal to 1 and the counter is less than or equal to 3, so between 1 and 3 inclusive, return true. Otherwise, return false. And the return here goes back up and prints out true or false in our print statement in our main method. Okay, let's save. Hopefully we won't get an error, and we don't. And it says true, so hello here is true because there's one e. Heelle is has 3 e's in it, so that's true as well. And this, whatever type of word that is false because there's 4 e's in it. Alright, hope this was helpful, guys. I'll leave a link to all the different things we used here, to the Java API, and hopefully you find it helpful. Thanks.